Okay, very good. So this is who we are, Kentucky Woodland Owners. Just like Billy said, I'm the current president. It's a one-year term, but what happened was is I started that term before the pandemic. And so I felt to keep continuity, I would just keep staying on as chairperson, and nobody has asked me to leave. And so I've been here about 4 years or so, and it's been a wonderful stint. It's a wonderful opportunity, and anybody that takes a position should think about it as taking it for more than 1 year. You just get into it and knowing what's going on. Kentucky Woodland Owners, we have an office. We don't have an office, but we have a mailbox over in Frankfort. We have a website. I'll get to that a little bit also a little bit later, but there's the website down in the bottom right-hand corner. And if you want immediate contact with somebody, the info, the info at KWOA will get you somebody on the other end. But basically starting, our mission is simply bringing together people in woodland sustainability. It's that is basically the short end of the stick as to what we're doing. I'm trying to find out how to move. Yep, there we go. Who we are. Now, I know there's a lot of words there, but basically what it comes down to is we're basically people that have an interest in all the natural resources related to their land. And it can be that their land could be just a quarter of an acre, it could be thousands of acres, but they basically have an interest in the natural resources on that land. And it can be an absentee owner or someone that lives right there on the land. We have what we do, basically, we manage our woodlands, and we do it in the support of, with the support of state and federal people, as well as programs that are available to us, and also local forestry organizations that we can work with. We do legislative activities, and that is that we are very cognizant as what's going on in legislation, and we support those items that are important to our landowners. And the last one is simply recognizing that the woodlands have a great contribution to the state's economy. There's a publication that this department, the Forestry and Natural Resources, puts out every year, and that is the economic benefits of forestry. And in the last issue, it says that somewhere between, well, close to $10 billion of direct cost or involvement. So it is a major, forestry is a major asset to the economy here in the state of Kentucky. $10 billion is nothing to sneeze at. And when you look at all the other aspects, some of the minor ones, it shoots up another several $1 billion also. How do we do this? How do we keep our name recognition? How do we let people know what's going on? How can you interact with this particular organization? Well, here's three things right here on the screen. The top left-hand corner is our website. And the way that I get to it real quick is in my browser, I simply type in KWOA space KY. And that directly takes me to the website, and click on that. Or you can fix up your particular app in there and push it that way. That is the website. Let me take you over to the right-hand side, and this is our newsletter that we have. It's a quarterly newsletter. It is not timely, which means when you receive the newsletter, a lot of the things that are in there are things that are historically taken place already. We do make some announcements, but the idea is not for you to get timely information here. It's to more or less summarize the history and historical events that are going on in forestry and natural resources, as well as KWOA. And again, it's a quarterly newsletter with membership. And I will say that the most important, well, not the most important one, but another leg to this tripod is the one down in the bottom right-hand corner, and that is the wood post. The wood post is sent out, it's through Constant Contact, and it's sent out a minimum of once a month. And it is the one that brings you up to the current. What is going on currently that you as a woodland owner need to be aware of? What programs are going on? What groups are meeting? Where are meetings? What issues are going on? And it is put out at least once a month. The thing that I want to say about the two, the Wood Post and the website, are they are done by two individuals who are members and on the board of Kentucky Woodland Association. And I am very, very happy with how this goes on, especially the website. And that is, I've gone to many websites of different organizations. And once you get in there and you find out that it is not up to date, you move on. And I will say that our website is a very timely piece of information. You recognize quickly the things going on in there are, I mean, the website has been brought up to date as quickly as possible. So these are the three ways that we keep in contact with our membership, as well as other people also. I want you to know what the resource here in Kentucky is, and that is 1/2 of the state. 50% of our state is woodlands, is in woodlands. Now, that you will recognize quickly that this particular shot is not taken out in the western part of the state. The majority of our woodlands are in the eastern part simply because of topography. And there are a lot of very valuable forestry assets in the western part of Kentucky. The thing that is so valuable about the forest here in the state of Kentucky is the diversity of species that are found here. We have up to 50 commercially very important species, and walnut and white oak are the two ones that come to my mind just for the industry that they support. But just recognize the fact that Kentucky is a very diversified state in the forestry realm. Now, you will find out that stories going into the woodlands, these trees have stories to tell. It's a timeless story that goes on from the beginning of that tree and going on until harvest, if the trees are harvested. But there's a lot of stories that are told, and we take the opportunity of doing as many field trips as possible during a year's time so that we can go into these different forests, different woodlands, and we can look at these trees and find out the stories that they tell. And we have professionals that go with us, and they are the ones that can direct our attention as to, here's the trees, here's the stories that they tell. Here is a woodland, and I just picked out a few stories that could possibly be told about a woodland. Now, this particular woodland that you're looking at right now is not it does not correlate with all the pictures I'm showing, but basically the picture on the left is a woodland site. It could be yours. It could be 1 acre. It could be thousands of acres. But there are so many issues that we need to discuss when we go into any woodland. One of them is, what was the past historical use of that particular land? That has a lot to do with maybe what the species are that exist there now. It has a lot to do with the site quality, the quality of the trees that are growing there, and also the age of the trees. Remember, I mentioned also in the very beginning who we are and what we do as far as Kentucky Woodland Owners. Some of them, many of them, are absentee landowners. They do not live on the property itself. I can go down through the list and name a lot of the members, and you'll recognize quickly that they are absentee landowners. But again, not only absentee or whether they live on the land, it's what has been the past use of that particular piece of property. We've had some major ice storms in the past that can throw a conundrum right into any management plan that you might have. Management plans are written for 20 years out, probably, and the situation is you have a catastrophe come along, not only this ice storm, but the tornado that we had in Western Kentucky. I mean, a landowner has to deal with those things in an instant. And again, we're in contact with those professionals who can help us. These two particular rascals, the turtle, I don't think is going to cause too much of a problem for us. but it is a site indicator. It explains to us where we are in the woods. It explains to us how healthy the forest is. And at the top, we're talking about a varmint that, that's out there. And these are issues that we have to be concerned about, and that is the coyote. So again, those are issues on a piece of land. The next one is, not only do we look at the land surface, what is on the ground itself, but also there's a tremendous number of users of our forest, and migratory birds, small and large, utilize our forest, and it creates a better understanding, a better diversity of our woodlands itself. Again, this is where I said I made the slide set up before, but here's this mushroom, and you remember what Megan said about a lot of these issues. It again is a site indicator of our woodlands, what mushrooms and fungi we find, and how that leads to a better understanding of our forest. And the last one, we have a tremendous number of health issues here in the state of Kentucky, not only Kentucky, but in other states itself. But this is a representation of an insect that created a great deal of problems for us starting in the early 2000s. That's the emerald ash borer. And we constantly, as landowners, have to be looking at these. Also, I want you to recognize the fact that a lot of landowners, woodland landowners, also like to have this meadow effect, and that is, again, diversity. Here's a small meadow, very small in itself, but the thing is it brings in and it attracts a lot of different site indicators, animals of all sizes, insects, reptiles, everything. So it's a diversity within a diversity. And this is what is important to Kentucky woodland owners, to not only just see, but to understand how each one of these affect one another. And that is, when you affect one, you're going to affect another one. The most important thing about our organization is, yes, we get a lot of information out through the website, through the newsletter, and through the wood post. But the most important aspect is the opportunity for us to meet. This is a picture of our annual meeting that we had just a few months ago at the end of March. It was in Frankfurt. It's the first one we've had for a number of years. And this particular one was dealing with wildlife, and it was due to it was a 3-day program, and we had the opportunity to be outside as well as inside. The March program, the annual meeting, usually is venued as an indoor experience, simply because we don't know what the weather is. But we have an annual meeting where we have a theme and have a program. And this particular one was in Frankfurt. It was dealing with wildlife, and we went to one of the main attractions was the Salado Center. The other thing that we like to do is to be able to get out. There's a gentleman, one of our members, who actually lives in Texas, and he has been helping us put together a lot of these meetings. And we certainly thank the expertise and the efforts of Steve Perry for putting these programs together. But these programs, again, not only indoor, but we like to get outdoors also. When you get to a woodland, you want to see what is going on there. Each one is different. The management style is different. The issues on each woodland is different. So when you put all those multiple factors together, you're bringing together expertise. Okay. This particular slide right here, there's a lot of reading there, but all I want to pick out of there is that there was a joint House resolution this year, and that was dealing with property tax assessment. The gentleman on the left, Jim Corum, lives down in Harlan, and he has been working for 10 years to get equitable property tax assessment on well-managed forest. And finally, he was able to get some work done this year. And so the university and the Department of Revenue are going to get together and find out, if you manage a piece of property for the woodland component, should you be given a tax opportunity there? Delayed taxes, I guess you might say. And so we're going to be hearing more about that. But again, this is one of the things that Kentucky Woodland Owners Association does, and that is we work with a variety of expertise. I want you to recognize the fact that we also support young people. We have scholarships for high school and college students. We have a program that's coming up the first week of June, and there is a recipient of a scholarship from Kentucky Woodland Owners. And what I wanted to mention also is Megan, who was on here just at the beginning. I believe Megan was our very first scholarship at the university level. And she took that money and helped with her educational opportunities. But we do provide educational opportunities for high school as well as college students. Simply showing you here that as a woodland owner belonging to Kentucky Woodland Owners Association, I mean, it's just an automatic magnet to think about, you know, we're going to be looking at woodlands. And that is the thing that we spend a great deal of time on, and all the different aspects of it. But also with those woodlands comes the effect of, you know, what wildlife are there, what potential of life wildlife can be there. And it's a very important aspect that we need to take into consideration. Again, we have the woodlands, but also we have that factor of having wildlife coming into these woodlands, and how does that affect one another. And the last thing that I want to talk about on this particular slide is the forest industry. And you remember I mentioned on the front end of this slide set that the industry here in the state of Kentucky is a $10 billion industry annually. And it is a very important industry. And so we have this relationship between the industry as well as the landowner itself. This last particular slide right here, or at least one of the last few, it shows this flight of some geese going over. And we all recognize the fact that some of these larger birds in migration, they always have a leader. Well, what seems to be a leader, what happens is that leader is there designed to make efficiency. Believe it or not, it actually creates a ebb and flow of the air currents. And so that leader will happen to, he or she will work the front end and then drop off, and another person will come up. And what this comes down to is partnerships. And Kentucky Woodland Owners Association by itself is absolutely nothing. What it is, it's the affluence of the partnerships that we have, especially here. I'm sitting here at the University of Kentucky, and their partnership is we have these 3 short courses during the summer, and we advertise them heavily. They work with us in every conceivable way to have their program successful and the programs that we do successful. There's a number of state and federal agencies that we partner with, a lot of private organizations, all working with forestry and natural resources. But I want you to recognize the fact that that's what Kentucky Woodland Owners does. We're interested in natural resources. Who are the people that are out there making the day-to-day decisions to help us? And again, partnerships are very important to us throughout our daily works. This one, I realize it says March 2023, which is almost a year away, but I want you to recognize the fact that we're already in the throes of planning a program at Lake Cumberland, and the theme is going to be recreation. I did a program earlier in March. It was a 3-state program, and there was one there, a person on trails, and he did a fabulous program, and a lot of people attended it. So we're doing a program on recreation, which will be in March of 23. So visit our website and check for updates on the dates and the times of that. Again, this is the last slide, and this is the slide that we started with, and this is Kentucky Woodland Owners Logo. This is what we do, and that is we manage woodlands in every way, shape, and form. And basically it's bringing people and woodland sustainability together. So again, it's been a wonderful opportunity to be with you today,